Recorded live from Stockton, California, this is Jammin' with the Best.
We're fucking back.
Yes, we are.
I mean, minus Crash.
Yeah, for now, and we'll see, how much we see him. He's got an open invite. He knows that.
Yeah, he knows. He was here today. He heard.
It's true.
Yeah, we're back, though. It's been a minute. And it's just us two this time, so it's a little different feel. Got a camera on us, so hopefully...
yeah, what up, YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube. Hi. Season 2. We're going to call it Season 2.
Sure.
It's like Season 3 or 4, probably, but...
You know what? It doesn't much matter. We're here.
It doesn't. We're here. We're going to make some content, talk a little bit, tell you how things around the shop have been and what's going on.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to do it weekly. Shouldn't be a problem, but we also said that before and, sometimes it is. We get busy, man.
Yeah, there's things to do, and sometimes this feels like it takes away from those things. But
yeah,
we're going to do it.
But we love y'all, and so that's exactly why we're back.
And it's still fun.
Absolutely is still fun. I missed it. When was the last time that we were doing it regularly?
Early COVID.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I feel, and like we did a little bit more jamming, and we certainly did the.
We did that regularly. Hey for regularly, and then me and Greg did talking around things fairly regularly, which is coming back. We're gonna have another part of that. So
yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah, it's been kind of wild, and we got this room all painted. As you can see, it looks great in here.
Nick Fisher.
Yeah, Nick Fisher at Sick Fisher on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. No, he does good work. He's got a very unique style. It's the way that he makes the room pop too, and like if you look at his Instagram, it looks fake.
Yeah,
it's so vibrant and definitely owns the style that he has. So
he loves little dots and things in his paintings.
Mm-hmm. Not a disc golfer, not yet anyways.
He's golfing a little bit. He was playing Chavez Ridge this weekend.
Okay.
And he tagged us in it. So shouted us out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's an LA artist, so anyone that needs some murals, he's down in LA. But he's willing to travel.
Mm-hmm. Out of Chicago originally?
Yeah,
right?
originally. So he'll go anywhere, set him up if you need a mural done.
Yeah, good dude, good style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a wild, however many months since we've been gone. Interesting landscape for the disc golf industry and, how a retailer fits in. We're finally getting more and more plastic. It seems like OTB Open was probably the thinnest our shelves were.
Yeah, that's about right at the right time, maybe even a week or two before that, but...
Yeah, and it was, we had some empty shelves as far as our back stock. How our system works is when the customer comes in, they can shop through basically everything that we have in inventory, online, offline, and we have a bunch of plastic bins is what we store our offline inventory in, and it's what's waiting to go online. Then it's on the racks, on the wood dowels, little pull-out shelves. We've got a sweet little spot. We like it. Those backup shelves with all the plastic bins were low. There was a lot of spots in them, and now it's getting pretty crazy full. Our hallways are getting full of discs. We got some in the podcast studio right now. We're bursting at the seams in a good way.
It recently cleared up a little bit too. I would say 2 weeks ago it was real tight in these quarters.
Yeah, Black Friday and mystery boxes help with that a little bit. And yeah, we're getting more variety of stuff in too, which is nice. People are lifting their limits manufacturer-wise. Seems to be trending in the right direction to where we might get back to normal in the sense of being able to just kind of order what we want and knowing that we can get a, Z Nuke or Star Destroyer at any point in time.
Yeah, it'd be nice if someone came in and it's hey, I need a G-Star Corvette, and be able to we got them. Right now, we didn't have G-Star for months.
Yeah. Yeah, we were limited, and that just, wasn't really a priority. We started to phase it in more and more as it completely sold out and trying to restock a little bit. But it was an interesting time to navigate through. We were on a podcast earlier today. This will probably drop for audio maybe tomorrow, and then for video maybe a little bit later as we start to get used to the editing process. I say we, it's going to be all Aaron.
Yep.
But we were on a podcast today that'll release, I think, Christmas week with the Upshot that had Justin Taylor from Skybreed Discs. I think I got his last name right. Alan Barker from Infinite, Derek Fell from Birdie, and then the two of us, and hosted by Charlie and Josh at the Upshot. And just kind of a roundtable and like the state of disc golf from the retail perspective. That was super interesting.
Yeah, it was a really good conversation. And it was kind of nice to hear that everyone's on the same page.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, like basically everyone's going through the same issues, having the same like successes. We're riding the same waves and maybe in different boats, but we're all in the same ocean.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of camaraderie there too between all the retailers. Like
especially us, Birdie and Infinite. I feel like there's a pretty good relationship there. We're not as familiar with Skybreed, but he seemed like a great dude too. So
yeah, certainly know the name, and it's someone that we've seen more and more. I complimented him. I thought they did a really good job with YouTube pre-roll and a lot of the Facebook advertising,
Facebook and
that
Instagram advertising, paid advertising. That is not just
organic
reach content, but paid advertising, reaching out specifically to people. They do a great job at that.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to advertise. It was one of the questions that I think Charlie asked or it was Josh actually, who said basically what advertising is most valuable right now, or what gets the best, ROI essentially. And we talked about how we had really turned off the paid marketing as far as Instagram and Facebook and YouTube pre-roll and all that, when we couldn't get enough plastic. Everybody was selling out of everything for a while, so it was something we had turned off, but we'll be turning back on for sure. But couldn't turn off, and didn't want to turn off like Pro Tour advertising and player sponsorship and all that. That's too. I think it's too important, honestly, for both sides. But like for growing the sport, I think it's good to make sure that money is getting put back into the sport to help it grow.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for us to, like, there's a reason Pepsi and Coca-Cola and Chevy and these companies have been there for so long, and it's because their name's always in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Like just having your name there, even if you don't have a whole lot to sell, is important just so people don't forget you.
Yeah.
Especially in today's internet age, like things move fast.
This is true.
You can get forgotten real quickly. So if you're not on it, then you got some issues.
Dude, things move so fast in the NFT space.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I don't even bother trying to pay attention to the billion projects that are out there.
Mm-hmm. Dude, just in Top Shot alone, like I stopped paying attention so hard just because how fast things were moving. Like I can't check this at all hours of the day.
No, it's wild. I was very into that for a minute, and now I'm like so out on it. I just find it less interesting. They don't have any real utility right now. It's cool from a collection standpoint, but there's a giant market correction going on.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. I think that'll happen, and they'll figure it out, and there'll be this ebb and flow of maybe at times there's too much utility almost, like where like it's the price point's like way undervalued. Sure. Like right now it's the opposite. Like there's like zero utility for those as of now.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I think it's I don't want to say it's inevitable that NFTs will be more and more mainstream as time goes on. I think that there's a good chance of that. I also think that there's a great chance that it's just like a fad that that moves on, or certainly in the way that it is right now, I think will pass.
Yeah, the avatar part is like it's just solely profile picture avatars.
Yeah,
and I think that's going to change.
And a lot of it is so based in like, oh, this NFT will give you more NFTs later. It's like, okay, that doesn't provide any value if nobody cares about these. So, and I can easily see the arguments for people that say it's just a scam or a Ponzi scheme, because it has strong components of that. And
there's way too many projects where people buy them, invest their money, and then they just disappear before the release date.
Yeah.
Like there's too much of that. It's still the Wild West. It's the Gold Rush era.
Very much so. What I think will stay is all the Web3 and the connectivity of your website and things like that. Like I think I would be surprised if 10 years down the line, you're not logging into like Nike.com and buying shoes from them, and they will know what NFTs you have in your wallet. And if there are any Nike ones, you will get some reward for that. I think that is what will stay. And then some brands that are from this initial phase will last, but I'm very curious what market correction is going to happen there.
I feel like CryptoPunks is like going to be around forever.
I mean, it's the OG.
It's like, it reminds me a lot of like the Honus Wagner card.
Okay.
Like the T209 or T2, whatever it is. It's not 209. That's just our area code. It reminds me of that because like part of the reason it's so popular, there's two reasons. The rarity, which there's our automatic rarity built into those. But then two is just like how old.
Yeah.
Like how early it was.
Yep.
For Honus Wagner, for those who don't know, that reason why that card's so popular, it only came in tobacco, like cigarette packs.
Oh, that's right.
And he said he didn't want to be associated with that for kids purposes, so they took it out. So there's a very fine, like a small amount of them. I think there's like 13 or 14 in like circulation today. But I kind of feel like it's similar to that. It's just so early that it'll be valuable forever, kind of.
Yeah. It's, it's the first. I do wonder again, how big of a market correction will there be? For those who aren't familiar with NFTs at all, this collection is, I think the cheapest one, there's 10,000 of them. The cheapest one is probably I'm trying to do the math in my head and it's not working at all, but like $300,000-$400,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say close to $500,000 probably.
Yeah,
on like most of them,
it's nuts. And for those, like, doesn't do anything. It's purely a collectible.
Yep.
There were different NFT drops where you would get access because you held this, but yeah. And back to the disc golf side is I think that there's a way to introduce the disc golf world into NFTs and have it be positive, because there's so many negative entrances, I think, into that space right now. But if we were to do something, it would be, a free shipping or 10% off, or
if you hold this, you get this,
a free ticket to OTB Open or something. The only way that we would do it is if we found some way to provide a ton of value to customers.
Yep. Yeah, it's especially for business purposes. Like, I don't know, all these are kind of business models.
Yeah.
Like if you can't bring customer value, then what are you doing?
Then you're not a good business.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Amazon's winning because they're providing value.
Yeah, it's kind of what I feel like a lot of these projects, though, like nobody's bringing any value. They're just trying to get rich real quick.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of that space right now for sure.
Yeah. And it makes me feel bad for like the legit artists that are making great art, because there's some really cool art on there.
Yeah.
Like, and like there's a lot of people that think the Bored Ape, I really enjoy all of them. There's a lot of people that think they're kind of basic art, and it is.
Sure.
It's pretty simple.
No, absolutely.
But some of these other ones are just like, wild.
It is a business, and you need someone that's a good marketer. I think you need three components for a project like that. You need the art, you need the marketing, and you need a coder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the coding, that's so important.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of the biggest issues I think we'll run into if we ever do anything big with it.
Yeah,
is the coding part. Because it's fairly simple just to go on OpenSea or Rarible or one of these sites and to make it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you have the money, because it can be expensive, but
it's super expensive right now. Gas fees, everything, it's wild. But like with take Nick Fisher for example, who did our studio. With any artist, you need that marketing, whether it's digital,
Dude, he kills it on that. Like, that's one of my things with him. Like, why he's a full-time artist, because how good he is on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
He does free, every project he does, he finds something that has to do with wherever he's painting at and does a free art drop, like in the city somewhere, and has whoever he's working with tag him on Instagram and shout it out. He did 3 painted Frisbees for us at a park, and it was sick. It was a fun little giveaway, and it's how you get your name out.
100%.
So
anybody that's starting a business or anywhere deep into it right now, whether it's disc golf or not, social media is are the keys to unlock where you're trying to go. It's the way to have that unlimited reach, whether you're selling products or art or whatever. It might not seem like Instagram is a good avenue for his projects, especially if he's not willing to travel, because he has to be there to do his thing, yet it's still killing it.
Yeah.
So especially if your business is online, it's use the heck out of it.
Yeah, for sure. There's always, and if you don't like one or the other, there's like almost an infinite amount of ways to do social media. You can have a blog, you can do
Twitch,
a YouTube
man.
show, you can do a podcast. If you play video games, you can Twitch. Yeah, Twitter is like all written and like kind of quick and fast paced.
Mm-hmm.
You can go on LinkedIn, it's more long form and slower. And
I wish LinkedIn had better avenues for us. I think it still will.
Yeah,
but it's it's as I view it, still it's so B2B.
It's so B2B right now, and I think it could be good for us if we ever like need to make a bag. There's some course design things. Like there's a decent amount of course designers on there. I kind of feel like
I think what would even work for us potentially in the LinkedIn space is to just keep putting out the content that is normal to us. Tinted a little bit for the venue, but that people would reach out to us that are in other industries and say, hey, what about selling this, whether it's shoes or bags or something like that. I think that is probably where we'd find our niche at the moment.
Maybe, some artist or something like that. I don't exactly know how to do it, but I feel like we should post there anyways, and we do.
Yeah, plenty of artists are hitting us up these days too. We've had conversations with some recently. I know Greg reached out to a guy that's done some for Big Germ. There's a lot of talented artists.
Yeah, the Finlay guy, Alex Hearn, I believe, reached out to us. We might be doing a project with him. So
more art, the better. Whether it's in our studio or stuff that we can put on socials, or specifically stuff that we can put on discs and shirts, is what's really easy, as far as we're very used to that process. It's always cool to see someone's art come to life, and to see them see it come to life.
Yeah,
is fun too, and just a lot of different styles.
I really enjoyed so Kyle made Tim Barham's recent logo for shirts and discs. I really enjoyed Tim's reaction to it. Yeah, he's super, super amped and sharing it all over the place. Shared our video the other day of the thing. And
in your hand,
Yeah, virtually in your hand. So his reaction's been cool, like seeing his own. Like, it's just his name on a disc, and like seeing that come to life for him has been really cool.
Yeah, and that's for a guy who's used to seeing his name on disc too, with the Tour Series Buzz SSs for the last 3 years or so.
Dude, those discs are great too. I was throwing that one the other day for basically the first time.
Yeah, Z Glow Buzz SS. That is pretty darn straight.
Yeah, much more stable than I thought it would be. I thought it would be flippier, more Claymore Originus-esque.
Yeah, not yet anyway.
Yeah, it definitely got a little turn. Like when you threw it hard and kind of flat, it would turn right. But it wanted to fight back a little bit, and if you threw it on hyzer, just kind of hyzered.
Origin's flippy out of the box, man.
The one I had isn't at that flippy, but it's still pretty. It's flippier than that Buzz SS for sure.
Yeah, the one I tried was like my beat up Claymore.
Interesting.
And the Claymore's already flippy, and the one I've got is real beat up, and so this was probably a little bit more overstable than that one, but more understable than a brand new Claymore for me.
Yeah. Good feeling discs, all three of those. Kind of similar-ish, all like feeling-wise at least. Beadless, lower profile, understable mid-ranges.
Well, and you wonder too how much variance can you have in the feel of a disc versus its flight characteristics. How different can, like the M5 is an example of a very different feeling understable mid. You take out that that other rim, I don't even know what it's called.
Reverse bead.
Reverse bead. You take out that reverse bead, and it probably goes back to feeling a decent amount like, most of the rest of them. You can go a little wider diameter.
I wonder if it's not going to be as flippy, because that's like the flippiest mid-range ever.
Yeah. That one was understable.
I wonder how much, like if you just take that, like it's basically a groove on the like where a bead would be.
The underside rim, right where a big bead would be.
Yeah, it's a groove there for those who haven't felt the Prodigy M5.
They don't make it anymore, I don't think.
I haven't seen one in a long time.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I'd like to see more of that type of innovation. You think of like the Rask and the Berg from Castoplast.
And the Boreum by Loft that's coming out. It's supposed to be the widest rim driver ever, but it has like the inner rim where it comes straight down. Instead of just being a sharp edge, it rounds off. So it's supposed to be like easier to grip, basically.
Yeah, we'll get a picture for the YouTube audience.
Yeah. They have if you go to their Kickstarter actually for that, I'll pull some stuff from there. They have a really good breakdown, like the most in-depth breakdown of a disc I've ever seen. That's right.
They got super scientific with power and angle.
Yeah, like how far it'll fly if you throw it on this degree of hyzer at this many miles an hour with this spin rate. It was kind of crazy.
Man, I wish I had that control. I was trying to get a little different spin rate.
Yeah, so I'm excited for just like that and the Rask. Like the Rask is so cool to me.
Yeah, it feels awful in my hand for my grip, but feels great for other grips.
I don't hate it. Like the idea seems really odd to me, but like put it in a forehand grip and it just like fits perfectly for my forehand. And then power grips, I'm like, yep. I haven't thrown it ever, so I have no clue how.
Beefy, from what I understand. Sandbagged one for a minute.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've heard. And then you watch Luke Sampson throw it.
It's a big boy.
And he throws hard.
Yeah.
And that disc turns and glides for a while, and then it comes back.
Luke's staying with them, I think.
I believe so.
I think they just dropped a fundraiser disc for him, too.
It was the blue Rask.
Very, very small quantity, but...
They definitely had a Rask of him, and I know the blue ones were like a kind of crazy color that people were stoked about. It almost looked like a plasma-y or like that.
There's some pretty plastic out there.
Yeah, there's some sick plastic. Some sick dyes.
Yeah, also that. That's been cool too. Like thinking of just different art, this is different medium for art. We've been working with a lot of dye artists.
I feel like the dye game blew up during COVID.
No doubt.
Yeah. I guess everything did in disc golf, but
yeah,
the dye game's crazy. Like we just got some Throw Joe's, Joe Rondo, shout out Joe Rondo. 40 of his discs with 20 minis, and they'll go live tomorrow probably, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, I think so. I think Jared loaded them today.
Today is Tuesday, so.
Yeah. When you hear this, it'll probably be live.
Yeah.
Hopefully not gone. And if they are, then we're sending a box right back out to old Rondo.
He's got some fire dyes. I'm probably going to bag one of those reactors.
I would love to have a constant stream heading to dye artists. Like there's a lot that we've worked with already that I would love to get restocked. I wish we didn't have to get them shipped to us, then ship them to them, then ship them back to us. We're paying shipping 3 times to get these discs done up. I'd love to get it cut down by 1 and have the manufacturer ship to them, but most of them won't. So, dye discs are expensive for a lot of reasons. Their time is certainly one of them, time and skills.
Yeah, we definitely got some more dye artists coming soon too.
That was a cool giveaway.
Yeah, I really liked that giveaway. Shout out to all 3 of them. It was Happy Tree Dyes, Deuce, and...
Was it Daddy Mac? Or not Daddy Mac, was it Rondo?
Joe's? It wasn't Throw Joe's. Oh, dang it. I feel terrible now. I'll look it up right now. It's on our Instagram.
Yeah, that's a fascinating way to have a business essentially doing the disc dyeing.
Oh, Georgie's Fly Dyes.
Sweet.
That's right. Super good artist. I was stoked for Deuce though, because Deuce was nobody he was kind of like, you look at his profile, it's just him. He's got like 2 pictures of dyes. Nobody knows who he is, but everyone tagged him.
Interesting.
And then out of the 3 dyes, it was definitely the brightest colors.
Yeah, the vibrance is really something that can stand out.
And he had some super vibrant colors on that disc. So I loved all 3 of the dyes. I thought they were great. And shout out Pirate Nate for that amazing design.
So many good artists. The Difference is Doing It is one that we've worked with for a little bit. And they've got some great videos out there. There's a ton of videos on how to dye stuff.
Dude, TikTok.
Yeah.
Dye videos are blowing up on TikTok. That's like where all the dyes are. I've kind of come to find all these dye videos on how to dye and stuff like that.
TikTok, man, is it still keeping? It's got to be still keeping pretty much the same like momentum.
Yeah.
I see like Facebook and Instagram now inserting that type of stuff
Snapchat
in their
too.
feed. Yeah.
They're going to that style.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Snapchat. I don't know what Snapchat calls it, but there's like a little video play button on it.
Yeah.
And then Instagram's got the Reels.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook's they
Just
have Instagram's
Instagram.
Reels.
Yep.
I mean, Twitter tried it.
Yeah.
Sort of in a way. They tried stories mode is what they did.
Mm-hmm.
I think Twitter's unique though. It's mostly words, and the speed of Twitter is something to behold.
Yeah.
And
it's where everyone is as far as like traditional news outlet type people with the like big followings like that. They're not usually going on Facebook with the freshest news.
No, the freshest news goes to Twitter first.
Mm-hmm.
People break news on Twitter, and then it kind of disseminates to everything else. I feel like Twitter and Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit is still one I've never like truly gotten into.
Reddit's a weird one because like it has so many like good qualities, but it also has like these awful parts of it. That's like,
doesn't
wow.
every like social media have some con like that?
Yeah.
Negative.
I feel like Reddit and Facebook are worse than the other ones though.
Probably.
And I think it might be like the you can say as many words as you want.
Sure.
So you just kind of like rant.
Yeah, I mean you could do a thread with Twitter, but it's not quite
way
the
harder.
same.
It's like it takes more time consuming. You can't just like rant and rant and rant and rant. You got to like press a button after you run out of characters, and so it's really thought out.
You could do it on Instagram too, but it's not what people are looking for when they're there.
No.
People don't go to Instagram to read.
Yeah, the words are real small.
Yeah.
Pictures real big.
It's fascinating the ways people consume content like that.
Yeah, and like who likes to consume what?
Mm-hmm.
Like my preferred way of consuming content is Twitter. Like
Yeah, I think I end up scrolling Twitter the most if I'm trying to learn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go on Facebook if I'm either just trying to kill like a little bit of time or see what my actual friends are doing, and business.
Yeah,
like Facebook if I'm on the auction pages or anything like that.
For me, Facebook's purely disc golf at this point.
Yeah,
I just avoid it for any other reason. I use Messenger a decent amount.
True. Messenger's a godsend because I can type stuff out. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I think I actually can with my phone, but it's not as intuitive.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just, I've always enjoyed, like some people like don't do any of it, but they listen to all the podcasts or or YouTube. Some people are just all YouTube. My dad doesn't do any social media, but he'll watch YouTube videos like,
yeah,
religiously.
Everybody's different. That's why you put out everything that you can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why you try to be on every channel if you're running a business.
As many as that's feasible and as many as you're comfortable to do.
Mm-hmm. Or makes sense. Like again, LinkedIn's probably not huge for us.
No, I don't spend a ton of time there either, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's just post here and there, and it's not copy paste, but almost copy paste.
So here's one. Besides Conrad's shot and like the ending of Worlds for this last year, what's your takeaway from like 2021 as the season's kind of wrapping up? Or it is wrapped up. The year's wrapping up.
There are way more people than ever that can win any given week.
Yeah. Parity,
yeah. I feel like Paul and Rick they probably had two of their better years, like as far as disc golf wise goes.
Yeah, and pure just like skill level,
but like they didn't win at the rate they ever won before. Like they both won plenty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just the week in, week out. You feel like Paul, Rick, and Eagle are there most of the time, and then there's like 20 other people.
Yeah,
that could at like any point in time be in contention.
For sure. There's tiers, and those tiers I don't think are separated by a whole lot.
Not anymore. It's not like it used to be.
Mm-hmm. Look at a guy like Connor. You know, Connor O'Reilly taking down, I think it was Delaware, the NT up there. So yeah, anybody can take it down, and it's not a huge surprise anymore. There's a lot of talent up there.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest takeaway. MPO, FPO, both sides.
100%.
Um,
I think the parity was even more present in FPO.
yeah,
Just not maybe as much depth.
it's had the choke. I mean, Paige and Kat have had a chokehold on that division for like almost 10 years. It feels like since before I started playing.
Yeah. The European ladies are
and coming
hopefully
up.
going to be able to compete,
And
as
got,
much as they want.
Missy and Kona, and there's just so many young women that are on fire and playing great disc golf.
Yeah, the sport is in such good hands right now. I feel like from an athlete perspective, 2022 is going to be fun.
Like I'm excited to see like what someone like Ella can do.
Big time.
Who hasn't spent that much time, like a lot of time with the frisbee. But not that much time on a disc golf course.
Yeah, and Zoe kind of teaching her,
and she throws like almost as far as everyone in the world.
Yeah,
as far as the FPO field goes.
Big game mentality too. She's not gonna crumble under pressure.
Yeah, she's been there, done that at the highest levels of a different sport. She was one of the best players in the world in Ultimate. So
yeah, that was fun hearing her competitor talk about her.
It was a coach. I can't remember her name.
I think it was a competing coach though,
yeah,
right?
Competing coach. It was like she was the coach of like the rival team. And they basically said they game planned entirely for Ella.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
It was so cool to talk. Yeah, that was an OTB Open.
We should have asked Charlie about Ella. Yeah. We should get Charlie on one day. That was fun being Charlie Eisenhood with the upshot.
Yeah.
It was cool talking with him. Certainly has been doing that for a long time and is even more visible now with his role at Disc Golf Network.
Yeah, he's doing a lot. I feel like he's probably got a lot on his plate as far as Ulti-World, both on the disc golf and Ultimate side go. And then he's doing DGN. He's doing the Upshot podcast.
There's more and more full-time jobs in disc golf now, all the time.
Yeah, and I feel like there's also people like Charlie who, like, disc golf's his job full-time, but he like kind of pieces it together with a podcast, with this thing over here, with this thing here. Like Corey Merle's kind of similar in that way.
That's who I was thinking of. Yeah,
he over the past 2-3 years, he's worked for a variety of different people. Doing a lot of things, and has kind of cemented himself a job in the sport.
Yeah, I think we've got, it shows that there's talented, motivated people that are willing to take the risk and just kind of try and figure out and see if there is something there. And if there needs to be 2 or 3 somethings there to start, then that's how it's going to go. And eventually, settle into their niche of either what they're best at, what they're happiest doing, or just what makes sense, monetarily.
Yeah. I feel like I see DGN and Disc Golf Pro Tour constantly posting positions open for hire.
Yeah. Yep.
It's kind of wild.
And the manufacturers are hiring. We've hired our fair share in the last couple of years. It's exciting to see. Pro Tour is a fun one. Like they, the announcement a month or so ago that they absorbed National Tour. So basically every large event outside of like USTGC and Worlds and stuff is going to be not necessarily ran by them because it's still a lot of local club involvement, but certainly they're going to oversee all of it and handle how the masses view it from an online perspective, and a lot of how they view it from in person too. It's not going to be free to see disc golf tournaments anymore in person or online. I think post-produced coverage is going to be an interesting one to see eventually get phased out. I don't know how quickly it will. I think it's going to be tough. Disc golfers are very much into the Jomez's and GK Pros and Gatekeeper and all that, and there's no question on why. They're extremely good at what they do, and they've helped get disc golf to a huge point. But Steve Dodge was 3 years early potentially when he tried to bring it all in house. I'm curious when it gets to that. I don't know that it's next season, and I have no real inside intel here, but I don't know if it's next season. But I'm just looking at the tea leaves and curious where that part of the industry will end up going to?
I think you've kind of already seen it starting to happen. Like Jomez is doing more of these putting league and practice round things.
Well, off season right now, but yeah,
but I'm
they're
just
getting
saying,
used to it.
Even in season though, like they
Mhm.
film putting league things everywhere.
Eagles documentary.
Eagles documentary. They're doing things like this more. GK found their skins match, which is like highly successful. You see other people kind of replicating it and trying to do the same thing or adding tweaks to it. I think that's where the content goes. It's more player focused, rather than event focused.
Again, it's going to be so tough to not have post produced for these big events. You know, all we're talking about right now is Pro Tour and these biggest events, and basically being pay to watch. You know, whether it's a subscription or, you know, it's going to be wild how it shifts. You know, whether it's subscription or you're going to pay to watch it in person, because that's no longer going to be free anymore, I don't think.
Like, how many places are free with it, you think, right now?
I mean, you look at the venues that they have.
Santa Cruz is not free.
Yeah.
We weren't free. OTB Open wasn't free.
I feel like SFO was one of the first ones that was charging for it, and like 3-4 years ago, that was hard to picture. Like it was an anomaly.
Mm-hmm, it was, and I feel like now almost everyone.
Like, I don't know the specifics of like a Waco, and if they're charging, or like a Jonesboro, you know, just haven't been there.
I know Resistance Open had tickets.
Yeah, I would imagine it's getting to that.
I wonder if like Beaver State Fling would have tickets.
Yeah,
so you got to pay to get in the park already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's like if we did it at Oak, you know, it would be very tough to
have a ticketed event.
But most of these venues now are at, you know, ball golf courses, which pros and cons there. Mm-hmm. You know, or private courses. Look at the what's the one where they did the skins and they brought everybody in and had a ton of money? It's like Eagles Crossing. I knew it wasn't Eagles Wings. That was the only thing that was coming to mind. Shout out Jim Schultz. But Eagles Crossing's like there's a private one where I think they did do tickets for the skins there.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, what's it called? Minnesota up there. Majestic's probably ticketed event.
Yeah, I would think so.
USTGC's a ticketed event.
Big time.
MVP's a ticketed event.
Yeah.
I'm sure
sense.
Vermont.
Oh,
GMC's ticketed. I don't know. I just feel like most Pro Tour events specifically are probably ticketed.
We've gotten so spoiled in this sport with having so much free content and like really quality free content with you know, Jomez and Central Coast driving that train early on.
As someone who doesn't have, like now I have more access to cable than I had in the past 2 years. Mm-hmm. Watching disc golf is so much easier than for watching for free than basketball or baseball or football. Like you have to jump through so many hoops to watch something for free and like technically do something that's illegal.
Yeah, I mean the entire, like, I want to say community, but it's much larger than that. Like society is shifting to streaming. Yeah. Big time. Cable, you know, cable's feeling that, and that's why they're doing streaming. They've got Peacock, you know.
They all got streaming now, and they're going to Hulu and stuff like that.
It's convenient.
But like, I mean, you can watch the biggest events in the world in disc golf the next day for free.
Yeah, the next day part is tough though, you know, because do you want to watch the Super Bowl the next day? And
no, but I've also like seen that there's been fights and like big events that have happened. I really want to pay the pay-per-view for. Yeah. Then I want to watch it the next day, but like good luck trying to find a decent quality version the next day.
It's 100% true.
Like, but in disc golf, like you're expecting it. Not even just like looking for it. You're like, if it's not there, people are angry.
Yeah, and it's to like Pro Tour's point of the reason why you can't find good quality streams of that the next day is because it's the product of UFC or boxing and those promoters and pay-per-view and all that. And that's where Disc Golf Pro Tour is looking at it and going, this is our media rights. Yep. How do we best, you know, navigate the waters of charging for something that people expect or expected to be free?
Yeah. It's a weird Like it's if you just like weren't like as disc golfers that are constant consumers, if they just like step back a little bit and like looked at it from a bigger picture, I think they would notice like this is like a really special, like for consumers, it's really special that you get all of this content. Like there's so much disc golf content right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting crossroads of the growth of the sport with an already mature internet and people that are very capable of shooting and editing this film.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Pro Tour will end up doing post-produced, edited like a Jomez or a GK Pro. And because I know a lot of people's speed bump with it is, I don't want to watch live because I don't want to watch 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just want to watch the 30-minute front nine, 30-minute back nine.
Yeah.
They should do post-produced like that. Maybe even have it be a different tier of membership or subscription too, where you want to watch live, it's $9.99 a month. You want to watch post-produced, it's $4.99. I have no idea the feasibility of that. But
I would like a post-produced thing that's the same time frame, but it's not necessarily the same card the whole time.
yeah, okay. Of
You know
the
what I mean?
whole,
Like the whole production, like
and so if you're Pro Tour there, what you do is you essentially would like hire or contract Jomez to film the card, GK to film the card, and say that you can't release these on your own channels, but you're now employees or, contracted by us, and you still do the same exact thing, but now it's all our, footage under the Pro Tour umbrella. And then, you can release, kind of highlights from the whole thing.
Yeah, because like say there's 4 guys on the lead card and 2 of them are just having really bad rounds, but a guy on the chase card and the guy on the third card are super hot.
Yeah.
And you can go back and forth between the two and like give context and be like, hey, this guy's coming, this guy's charging.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to do this. Like he doesn't know it. He might not know it, whatever. I don't know. Give all the context of it. Because sometimes I watch like the lead card of an event and it's one guy running away from the card and the rest of the card kind of sucking. And then someone from the chase card comes and wins it or something like that. And it's like, oh, I just watched this for no reason.
Yeah, so it's like, how do you efficiently tell the story of that tournament?
Yeah, while not just showing good shots. Because I think you need to show bad shots
Absolutely.
and all of that because that's part of the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, show as many shots as you can while still telling the story of what happened.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how the content of the tour stops evolve over the next year, over the next 5 years.
I think they'll consolidate.
How so?
Less tournaments. Pro Tour.
Interesting. See, I mean, I think there's an argument for more if you look at like PGA Tour.
Maybe I'll put it this way. More Silver Series and less Paul, Rick, those guys at those events.
Sure.
I think it'll be like it's already happening. Like Paul's playing less events than ever. A lot of these guys are playing less events. They don't need to play these little small events. And I think as the purses grow, players will try to peak at different times of the year. Mm-hmm. They'll try to peak for certain tournaments, and they're much more willing to spend 2 weeks at home missing a Silver Series event, in training and or relaxing or doing some media obligations.
Yep.
And I think there might be more tournaments because like the PGA, there's hundreds of tournaments.
Yeah, or like how many are on their like legit tour? If there's 52 weekends throughout the year, is there like 30 something, like
Probably.
high 30s?
I would imagine. I don't know that I don't know the number.
I would imagine their season pretty much mirrors ours as far as start to finish, month wise.
Yeah.
You could fit in quite a few, and then players do choose which ones they want to take off, whether it's courses that they play better at, or
that too. I didn't even think about that, but
pulling out different swings that don't make sense. But as the sport matures, finances, I think, will be less and less of a hurdle, and routing, while still making a lot of sense, inevitably people will be flying in and out to each event.
Yeah, I think right now part of the reason why people like Connor, who played like some ridiculous number of events, like part of the reason he did, like sure he loves disc golf and wants to play all the time, but like on the tour, like from a week to week point, if you're not really being sponsored, don't have your tour series disc, like you need to place.
Yeah, I mean he was on a prove it deal with I think probably everybody, and good for him. He proved it. He proved he's has a great chance to be one of the best players going forward.
Yeah,
certainly has all the skills. Like his frame is set up for it. You know what I mean? And
yeah, he's smooth. He has the media part down.
Yeah, he's doing well with that. Bright kid, super nice.
Yeah.
And
big forehand, big backhand.
Yep, and willing to put in the work.
Yeah, works his ass off. Willing to do the social media.
Yep.
Yeah, all of that to me. But part of the reason he played so many tournaments is because he needed to. Like, to be able to afford gas to the next tournament, he needed to win that or place well at that tournament.
Again, yeah, it's the maturation of the sport for sure, and somebody in their career too.
Yep.
The maturation of his career.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of sports go through it.
Yep.
Right or wrong, like minor league baseball is some of the worst. Like some of these players go through awful conditions to get to the bigs.
Yeah.
So whether it should be that way or not, I don't think it should be, but it's what life is right now. So, and disc golf's getting out of it a little bit, like not completely. It'll never be completely out of that, but it's like more and more like middle of the road pros can afford to be pros.
Yeah, I think it was on our podcast earlier. Somebody was saying, I think it was there. It might have been a YouTube video I was watching. Somebody was saying basically that the top 10 or 20, pros right now are making a good living. That's going to turn into the top 50, pretty soon if it hasn't already. And, then it's going to be the top 100 and so on.
Yeah, and eventually there'll be, I mean, it's already sort of happening. There are people that aren't pros that are making a living via YouTube and teaching and coaching and all this stuff. One thing before we get on out of here is I kind of am excited. I think Brian Earhart might coach long term.
Ooh. Dude, he's got such a good mind.
I watched him, video he posted today on Instagram was like a drill he was working on for like overextending his throw and just like the reverse engineering of it. And I'm like, that's just a baseball or lacrosse or whatever. I'm thinking he played baseball. Like that's just like that coming out. And I don't know. He just seems like he'd be really good at coaching.
Nice.
So
should reach out to him, see if he needs any assistance on that kind of stuff. As far as like sponsorship or whatever, but that's endeavors we certainly want to see succeed.
Yeah. Brian, if you're listening,
yeah,
come on our podcast for one.
Dude, absolutely. Open invite.
Yeah. One of my favorite conversations ever was with him at Paige's birthday.
Nice.
That he's sharp.
Nice. Yeah, hit him up. I'd love to talk to him.
I will.
Yeah, and on that point, I want to see you, Sam, Jer, some combination doing a form podcast, doing drills like that.
Yeah.
Like you're someone who's harped on that for a long time now, as far as there's no disc golf drills really out there.
No, there's people. I think there's more people trying probably now than ever. And I've seen some, but
yeah, to say there's no is certainly not correct, but
very, very few comparatively to other sports.
There's so much good disc golf education out there. This is a component that I think is under shown, I guess.
Yeah. Like think about how many golf instructional videos there are in the world.
Yeah, or going back to baseball, there's so many little tiny drills that you work on to help that big motion when you go in the game.
Yeah, for everything. Like, I mean, there's drills for infielders where they're on their knees and you just hit balls at them and they're like working on backhand only, then forehand only. And that's just like every little single aspect of the game is broken down into a smaller aspect.
Yeah.
Like over and over and over again. And so there's these like drills where like it looks funny But then once you really think about it, like if I do this over and over again for 30 times in a row, then when I go to do the natural thing, it'll be like, it'll have implements of that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing that Brian was working on in that video, actually.
Mm-hmm.
He was working on striding shorter.
Okay.
Because he feels like he overextends.
Yeah.
Something I have an issue with.
I know for sure that I mess up with that sometimes. And as soon as I'm done, I'm like, that was awful footwork.
Yeah. I slip a lot. And a part of the reason is my last step overextends a lot.
Too wide, yeah.
And it's like a drill. I was like, oh, that's like, I should have thought of that. It's pretty simple, easy. And he was like sitting there working on it and talking about it. Like the way he talked about it too in the copy was like, yeah, that's
delivery is key.
You're going to be a coach.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So.
That's exciting. Yeah. Cause he did announce he was stepping away from the tour.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that for a fact, but it just instinct, like intuition kind of.
Yeah. That's where he's headed.
Yeah.
His podcast is great.
Yeah. His podcast is really, I haven't listened to a ton of it, but what I have is just like.
The Paul episode was dope.
He's natural.
Mm-hmm.
So stoked for someone like him.
Absolutely.
A lot of room for people like him in the sport.
No doubt. Or like a disc golf strong. You know what I mean? We need more Seths in the world.
We need a lot more Seths.
Yeah. It's a hard word to pluralize. Hard name.
Seths. Good dude though.
Definitely. We'll be running some disc golf strong shirts and hats and beanies and stuff like that. So yeah, Mark in our house has been working on that with Seth and his wife Tiffany, I believe. So yeah, that'll be something to keep an eye out for. Again, just really trying to support the people who are doing great things in disc golf.
Yeah, there's a lot of them now.
So many. Yeah, we're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
The sport is in good hands.
Yes, sir. All right.
Let's roll, baby.
Until next time.
Love you. We'll see you. We'll keep doing it. Stanley on the ones and twos.
Thank you, Stanley. You're the man.